everybody. My name is Chris, and I'm from the Dynamic Drum School, and today will be fun because I'm going to teach you a new song. I've been teaching my students different songs and drum fills of the week for the past couple years, and I've just been sending it to them privately, unlisted on YouTube. But lately I've been getting a lot of requests on Instagram if there's any way that I could, people asking, how do you teach your students these things? And I mentioned that I have videos, so I thought, why don't I release this to everybody? I'll create the videos and I'll make it specifically for my students, but if anyone else finds this in the YouTube world, they can partake. So this is going to be a 7-week process to learn this particular song, and there's going to be a video for each section. So we're starting with the verse this week, and then there'll be a new section for the chorus, the verse 2, and the outro and tag. And then the 5th week, we're going to teach you how to memorize the song, give you some memorization tips, and then some ideas of how you can write out a basic chart to make it easier. Then the 6th week will be fun because we're going to teach you how to kind of create your own fills. The 7th week will be to create your own drum beats. So I break this down into 3 levels. So each video, each week for each section is going to have 3 different levels. So the level 1 is basically just 1/8 notes for just beginners. Level 2 is a little harder. It's kind of in between beginner and intermediate, where we get into 16ths and some rudiments. The drum beats are a little more complicated, combination of 8ths and 16ths. And then level 3 is more intermediate, where there's going to be more challenging beats and more challenging fills. So the idea is you can pick any level that you're at and try to play along. I thought it would be fun to create a video with all 3 levels. So say you're just a beginner, and the idea is to get so you can play along with the track. So maybe it's pretty easy to play along with the track. Maybe you can play the fills or the beats in level 2, but you can't quite get it up to speed. So you can learn level 1 and then try playing the beats separately in level 2. Or say the same thing goes for level 2. You're at the level to play those beats and the fills, but you can't quite play the beats and fills in level 3, but you can start to learn them, kind of take them, break them down slower. So the idea is you can learn any of the levels that you're at. You can always try to get harder, try to get more challenging. I found this has been really great with my students because they can kind of push themselves, learn what they're capable of, and then push themselves to see if they can try something that's a little above their level. So all this is going to be free. You can download everything. You can watch the videos. You can learn it by ear. There's also going to be music notation at the top of every video explaining it. I'm also going to have a separate video with each level of a song with the drums and then a separate drumless track. So you can get all that for free. If you want to partake in the same things that I'm doing with my students, if you want to get the actual drum charts and the full MP3s, just for a small fee, you can get the 3 charts of the 3 levels. You can get a MP3 with the drums and an MP3 without the drums. You can also there's going to be a separate chart for each level where I leave blank when we get to the writing out your own fills. I'll leave blank where the fills are, and then you can write out your own fills in there, and I'll do the same thing. I'll have a separate sheet for creating your own drum beats. So you can get all that just for a small fee if you want to partake, but you can definitely do all this for free. Just follow along each week on the videos. So this will be fun. It's going to take 7 weeks to get through the whole process. Let me know and the journey if there's any questions anyone has, any of the videos, if any part of the beats are confusing. I'd be happy to answer any questions, any comments. Please leave them below. And let's get started this week with the verse 1. So let's break down level 1 of Drum Set Jam 6, and this is the verse. So the verse is 8 measures long. This is a 2-measure drum beat, and notice at the end of the 4th measure, there's a repeat sign. That's the 2 dots with the thin line and then the thick line, and then you're going to repeat back to the 1st measure. So only the first time are you going to play the crash. You'll see right above the 1st measure, it says hi-hat and then parentheses, no crash 2nd time. That just means you're going to play it the 1st time, but then when you repeat the 2nd time through those 4 measures, you're going to leave out the crash. So let's just start with the hands. The hands are easy. You're just going to play 8 eighth notes on the hi-hat, and then you're going to play snare drum on beats 2 and 4. So let's try it at 50 beats per minute. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 Let's add the bass drum. We'll just play just the hi-hat and the bass drum. So the bass drum is almost the same both measures. The first measure you play on the 1, then you play it on the 3 and the and a 4, and then you skip the bass drum on beat 1, and then you play it again on the 3 and the and a 4. So it's basically the same thing, both measures, just omitting, taking away the bass drum on beat 1. So let's try it, same thing at 50 beats per minute. 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. So now let's add the snare drum with it on the beats 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. Great, so now let's play the first 4 measures of the verse. We're going to add the crash on beat 1 of the first measure, and then we'll continue on and play the first 4 measures. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. All right, now let's do the same first 4 measures at 70 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. So if you're having a little trouble putting both measures together, you can just break down and practice the first measure, break down and just practice the second measure, and then put them together. So now the only thing left to do is just practice all 8 measures. So you're going to practice crash the first time, play 4 measures, then come back, repeat it 4 more times, but leave out the crash the second time on the 5th measure. So now the next step is play along with the song. It's going to be right after this. Just going to be the first section, the verse. So, and it's going to be at 90 beats per minute. So if you need to, that was at 70. If you need to practice getting a little faster with the metronome, and then try play along with the track. One, two, three, four. Let's check out the verse for level 2. This is going to be the same beat for level 1 and level 2. The only difference is we're opening the hi-hat on the and a 3 just to make it a little bit harder. So it'd be easy if you just rewind and check out how to play the level 1 section just to learn how to play the beat, but I'll just play it real quick without the hi-hat at 50 beats per minute. 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1. So now the only thing we're adding is just open hi-hat on the and a 3. 3, open, 4. 3 and 4 and. So what I like to think is as I hit the 3, my both feet are down right after I hit that. 3 and then and 4. So right as I put down on the and a 3, I'm going to push my right foot down but lift my left foot up. 3 and 4. And then on the 4, I close my foot, hit the hi-hat, and hit the snare at the same time. So 3 and 4 and then on the and a 4, you're going to hit the bass drum again. So if you need to just break down even just the beat 3, and then you could put 3 and 4 together. 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and. Now let's play it, adding the crash. We're going to play the first 4 measures of the verse at 50 beats per minute. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. Same thing at 70 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So you notice on this, above the first measure, it says hi-hat, no crash, second time. So you're just going to play the crash in the first measure and then leave it out on the fifth measure. Great. Now that you can play that for the 4 measures, the next step is just practice the full 8 measures. And then you're going to try that, building it up to 90 beats. That was at 70. So once you can play it at 90, then the next section is going to be the play along track for level 2. And just jam along with it, have fun, and just try to get in the groove with it, keep the tempo, and then you'll be ready for the chorus next week.
One, two, three, 4.
So let's break down level 3 of Drum Set Jam. This is the verse. So this is only 8 measures long. And you'll notice on the first measure, it says hi-hat, and in parentheses, no crash second time. So you're going to play the beat through 4 times, and you're going to repeat it, leave out the crash. And then this is a 2-measure beat. And if you listen to level 2, the first measure is the same, except we're going to add an extra snare on the E of beat 3. And then the second measure, there's a couple extras. There's an extra snare and 2 extra bass drums. So what I'm going to do first, let's break down the hands. I'm going to play both measures together. So we've got the 8th notes on the hi-hat all the way through. Then we're going to have the snare drum on 2 and 4 in both measures, and then also on the E of 3. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So I'm playing a ghost note or grace note, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically just playing the snare drum softer. So I'm trying to only hit it about just a little bit off the drum. If you're not experienced with that, you can play all three hits per measure the same. That will sound cool too. And if you can work on playing it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, now let's do the bass drum. So we got the hi-hat. We're going to play the hi-hat and the bass drum. So the bass drum is on the 1, the 3 and the and of 4, and then the 3 and 4 and. Play the hi-hat and the bass drum together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. All together at 50 beats per minute. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now I'm going to add the hi-hat on the end of 3. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 3 and 4 and 1. All right, now let's play it 50 beats per minute. The first 4 measures. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and Same thing at 70 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1. Great, so now you can do that. Practice all 4 measures at 70 beats per minute. Try to build it up to 90, and then right after this is the play along track at 90 beats per minute. So practice this week, and then next week we'll get started with the chorus.
One, two, three, four.